Ex-cons, what is the most fucked up thing about prison that nobody knows about?
Former prison librarian here. Dental care, dentists won't fill your teeth, they will just pull them. No caps, no implants. Race, prisons are still self-segregating in a lot of ways. When I worked in a prison in WV, one dorm had a black TV, controlled only by black inmates, and a white TV, controlled by only white inmates. Honor culture, if you call someone a name or steal from them, the other person must retaliate to save honor. As a result, you will see a lot of black eyes in prison. Postage stamps are a form of currency. Many prisons censor what books come into the institution. At one prison I worked in, The Art of War by Sun Tzu was banned simply because of the title. I assure you that no one in admin had ever read the book.
My dad was in prison. In his situation, and in many others, you feel immense guilt after getting to know your fellow inmates. Because you're gonna get out, and they're not, ever.
A neighbor of mine was locked up for murder and released some time before I was born. It's one of those things where everyone knew about it but no one talked about it. I remember him telling me the story of why he was in there and what it was like. Very rarely did, and the most surprising thing in his experience was that the smaller, quieter, weaker, more vulnerable in general were typically left alone. It's only if you acted like a big shot did people want to fight you. Also, picking fights with said smaller, quieter, weaker, more vulnerable ones will instantly get you a non-stop flogging by other inmates until your spirit broke.
Shit bombing. I had a friend go to prison for a drug-related crime. He had his own cell and stuck to himself for the most part. Another inmate shit into a water bottle and filled it to the brim with water and mixed it up into a slush. Said inmate then took the water bottle to my friend's cell, placed it the slit at the bottom of his cell door, and fucking stomped on it. Shit water sprayed absolutely everywhere, while my friend was in the cell too.
A cigarette in prison consists of the following. Take a regular cigarette out of the pack. Cut the tobacco portion of that cigarette into 4 equal parts. Remove the tobacco from each of those separated portions and re-roll it using Bible pages into 4 mini cigarettes called a clip. Sell each clip for $2 minus $4. A cigarette out of that pack can be sold whole for between $10 minus $20 each. Edit. Here is the currency conversion for the prison where I was incarcerated. 1 ramen noodle soup equals $1. 1 mackerel fish pouch equals $1.50. Bag of coffee equals $8. New bar of ivory soap equals $2. 1 pack of duplex cookies equals $2. Bedmade equals $1. Laundered t-shirt equals $1. Tattoo equals $20, $50, depends on how many hours spent. Fellatio in far stall equals $5. All part of the cigarette/clip/tobacco trade. It was very common for someone to walk around the yard picking up fully smoked cigarettes to shake out the last few crumbs of tobacco for rolling into a clip. Most people were fine just buying a clip or 2 that would last them for the entire evening. If someone saw you smoking a Cadillac, you are either going to have to share that Cadillac or fight. Again, a Cadillac is a full factory rolled standard cigarette. Someone asked about a hot oil shower in a buried comment. A hot oil shower is when an inmate will take a cup of baby oil and heat it up in the microwave to the point of almost boiling the oil. This is done late at night so that you can take that hot oil and throw it in somebody's face while they're asleep, which will burn the skin off of their face. It's a very effective attack weapon.
It's never quiet.
Lots of officers sleeping on the job.
My friend's father worked in a prison. He had to quit because some co-workers neglected to give a woman her bipolar medication just so they could see what happens. I don't know if it's much of a secret, but they didn't give some women sanitary products, so the women had to free bleed and they'd get mad when their uniforms got stained. Everyone was so goddamn friendly. I was mad when I got out and had to deal with real assholes again. I think it was the fact that we all knew we fucked up, and there wasn't any reason to act different or hit anything. Granted, Minnesota prisons are nowhere near the toughest. Haha.
The smell.
When you get out, you miss the simplicity of choices. When you are in, all you think about is getting out and what you will do when that happens. Everything focuses around this. When you are out, at first, the input is enormous and a small part of you miss the simplicity.
When you get out, the feeling of soft carpet on your bare feet is borderline orgasmic, and you'll never take it for granted again.
Not an ex-con, but former prison librarian. Inmates are not allowed to have intimate relations, including with themselves. They can get infractions for being caught masturbating.
My brother is a co, and he told us why their inmates have shampoo and soap that comes in packets now. They used to have it in little bottles. Well, the guys would use up all their soap, and instead of throwing the bottle away, they would keep it and fill it with a combination of whatever bodily fluids they felt was appropriate and use it to hold up other inmates for their commissary. Like, if you don't give me your commissary, I'm going to squirt this bottle in your face. And when they said no and got squirted in the face, they got pinky. My brother said a lot of people had pinky. Shit was always one of the ingredients in the bottle. Edit, since so many people keep asking, commissary is like a general store for prison, jail. They have food items, toiletries, and other things, although I don't know the specifics. Inmates get money in their commissary account, either from their family or from whatever work they do, if that's a thing where they are.
How shitty the toilets can be, especially when you have to share a cell or pod, and they basically have to listen to you shit in the middle of the night.
They take your mugshot. Last. Suddenly Lindsay Lohan's mugshot progression makes so much more sense.
Not in prison, but I volunteer in one. One time I was chatting up this huge black dude, and I asked him what he did in his free time. He said he played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I was shocked. On the outside he would never be mistaken for a D&D player. White guy on the other side of me told me that D&D was huge in prison. I had no idea. Also, same guy makes tacos for everyone else and makes money doing it. I think he has a hot plate in his cell and uses commissary items as ingredients.
I guess it's not really fucked up, but my dad said it drove him crazy when people wouldn't wear slippers in the showers, as without slippers it was one of the quickest ways to get nasty foot fungus.
My sister is in prison, and for me it's the access to the black market. Specifically, it's very easy to get hard drugs. Imagine sitting around with nothing to do, hating your situation, fighting depression, and knowing you can just get some cheap heroin. They use money from canteen, relatives, favors, etc. It's also generally accepted that if someone gets in trouble, getting them out of it is just a matter of sending $50 to a random Western Union. Also applies if they want to be moved to a different cell.